Hi friend, Anime Recaps here. Today I am going to explain a 2016 Japanese animated drama film called The Shape of Voice. Spoilers ahead, watch out. At the start of the film, we see a short glimpse of Shoya Ishida's current life as he seems to be depressed. The boy is about to take his own life by jumping off a bridge, but he stops midway. After this scene, the movie takes us a few years back in time when Shoya was enjoying his days in elementary school. He used to be a pretty energetic and carefree young boy, who'd enjoy every single day with his friends. One day a strange little girl named Shoko Nishimiya transfers to his school. Shoya gets quite fascinated by her once he discovers that this girl is completely deaf. At first, Shoko is treated quite nicely at this new place. Most of the students try their best to make her feel at home. However, slowly the other kids start to get tired of little Shoko and her notebook that she uses to communicate with others. Seeing how a girl in his class was getting a little annoyed by Shoko, Shoya decides to bully her in class by mimicking her style of speech. After this, most of the students in her class start to ignore Shoko, and she is left all alone. The acts of bullying against Shoko keep on getting harsher and harsher with every passing day. One day, things get a little out of hand when Shoya decided to forcefully take off Shoko's hearing aids. The girl's ears start to bleed out.
Oh no, she's bleeding! What do we do?
The next day, a teacher at the school comes in Shuya's class and talks about how someone is bullying Shoko. The teacher asks the bully to come out themselves, or the parents of the kids would have to get involved. All the kids in Shuya's class blame him for bullying the deaf girl. After he returns home, Shuya's mother takes him to see Shoko's family. Shuya's mother completely pays back Shoko's mother for all the lost hearing aids, and she also rips her earrings out of her ears in order to make up for the pain that her son had caused. The next day Shoya realizes that things are different now. Instead of Shoko, he becomes the kid that was being bullied at school. A fight breaks out between Shoko and Shoya when the girl tries to help the boy. After this fight, Shoko transfers to another school. In the second part of the movie, we are taken back to the present day. Shoya had been thinking about killing himself, but he didn't go through with it. After his failed suicide attempt, the boy decided to go and meet Shoko, and return her notebook. Shoko gets scared of him and tries to run away, but Shoya chases after her and uses sign language to ask her if she wants to become friends. When he wakes up the next morning, Shuya's mother finds the huge sum of money that he had been collected for his mother before killing himself. His mother says that if Shoya doesn't stop thinking about suicide, then she will burn all of his hard-earned cash. Shoya apologizes to her, but his mother still accidentally ends up burning all the money. Afterwards, Shoya goes to his high school. Here we discover that the boy has now become a complete introvert with no friends. Shoya tries not to interact with anyone. The next day, Shoya finds another boy from his class getting bullied by someone into giving him his bike. Shoya takes the stand for the boy and gives the bully his own bike instead. On his way back from school, Shoya decides to visit Shoko again and takes a loaf of bread with him. A small kid stands in Shuya's way, and she does not let him meet up with Shoko. Afterwards, as Shoya is going back home, he runs into the kid who was getting bullied at school. The boy was busy trying to find Shuya's bike all day and had come to return it. This boy named Tomohiro Nagatsuka ends up becoming Shuya's first friend at school. A few days later, Shoya again decides to meet up with Shoko. Despite the kid getting in his way again, Shoya still gets to have a meeting with Shoko. Shoko and Shoya finally become friends, and the two decide to feed the fish some bread together. As the two are talking, Shoko's book accidentally falls in the river, and they both jump in the river to retrieve it. The little kid with Shoko had taken a picture of Shoya when he was jumping into the river. Shoya got suspended from school for a little while once the picture went viral on the internet. When Shoya goes out to get his niece from the park, he finds that kid again. The two have a little talk, and Shoya invites her over for food. The little kid suddenly decides to take off in the middle of the night without telling anyone. Shoya goes after her and walks her home. The girl reveals to Shoya that she is actually Shoko's little sister named Yuzuru. Once they reach Shoko's home, her mother walks out and slaps Shoya on the face without uttering a single word. The next day Shoya meets up with Shoko again and introduces her to his first friend at school. Shoko tells Shoya that she wants to meet up with her old friend Sahara again. Shoya finds Sahara's new school and the three finally have a reunion. Shoya also finds his old classmate Naoka on his way back. The next day, he decides to go and visit Naoka's workplace but she ditches him. The day after that, Naoka suddenly appears out of nowhere and sits at the back of Shuya's bike. She apologizes to him for completely cutting contact when they were kids. The two also see Shoko standing across the road. After seeing Shoko, Naoka quickly runs towards her and forcefully takes her hearing aids off. Shoya asks her to stop what she was doing and returns Shoko's hearing aids to her. The next day Shoko decides to change her hairstyle for Shoya and gives him a gift. Shoko confesses to Shoya that she is in love with him. However, instead of writing it down or explaining it with hand gestures, the girl decides to say it out loud. In the end, Shoya could not really understand what she was trying to say, and Shoko runs away embarrassed. When Shoya goes to school the next day, he realizes that his classmate Miki had also changed her hairstyle. He asks her why she changed it, but she does not really give him a straight answer and tells him that her friend Satoshi wants to hang out with him. Shoko does not show up at the meetup after school, so Shoya starts to feel like she is avoiding him. He decides to invite her to hang out with the other friends at the amusement park, and she agrees. When all the friends reach the amusement park, Naoka also decides to show up and hang out with them. For the first time in a very long time, Shoya feels like he is having fun with his friends. Naoka confronts Shoya and explains to him that she absolutely hates Shoko. According to Naoka, Shoko is the reason why she and Shoya are no longer friends. When Shoya disagrees with her, she quickly takes Shoko with her to ride the Ferris wheel. The next day, Yuzuru shows up at Shuya's place, and the two watch a video that Yuzuru had secretly recorded while Shoko was alone with Naoka. In the Ferris wheel, Naoka told Shoko that she absolutely hates her and does not want to be friends. In reply, Shoko explains that she does not hate her, but she hates herself. Naoka gets very angry after this and starts beating up Shoko. After watching the video, Shoya explains to Yuzuru that he wants Shoko to like herself. The next day, Satoshi reveals to Shoya that Miki told him about how Shoko used to get bullied. When Shoya confronts Miki regarding spreading this information, Miki completely snaps and blames everything on Shoya. She believes that Shoya is the only person who is responsible for bullying a girl so much that she had to change schools. Later that day, Shoya meets up with Yuzuru, Shoko and Sahara. Naoka, Miki and Satoshi also randomly show up. Miki says that she has decided to forgive Shoya now because he has been trying very hard to make things right between himself and Shoko. This is when Naoka snaps at Miki and asks her to stop blaming Shoya for everything. Naoka tells everyone how Miki used to sit in the back and laugh at Shoko with everyone else. When Naoka asks Sahara to back her up, the girl says that she used to be scared of all of them as a kid. While all of them are arguing, Shoya just sits down and asks them to stop. He shuts everyone out and takes the complete blame for everything that happened. After everyone leaves him alone, Shoya asks Shoko if she wants to go out and do something during the summer break. The next day, Shoko and Yuzuru's grandmother passes away. A few days later, Shoya and Shoko hang out together as they had initially planned. Shoya asks Shoko to hang out with him tomorrow as well and tries his best to create a happy and cheerful persona of himself in order to make Shoko happy. Yuzuru and Shoko invite Shoya over to their place to bake a cake for their mother's birthday. At the birthday party, Yuzuru invites Shoya to go watch the fireworks with her family next Tuesday. On the day of the fireworks, they all get together. While watching the fireworks, Shoko suddenly says that she wants to go back home and goes before the others. Shoya also follows after her to grab Yuzuru's camera from her home. When Shoya reaches her home, he sees that Shoko is watching the fireworks from the balcony. Suddenly Shoko decides to jump down from the balcony in order to commit suicide. Shoya quickly runs towards her and saves her life, but the boy ends up falling himself and gets rushed to the ICU. Shoya goes into a coma. When Shuya's mother comes to visit him, Shoko's mother and Yuzuru both apologize to her for what had happened. Naoka also shows up at the hospital and starts to beat up Shoko. She blames her once again for everything that had happened. Shoko's mother shows up and starts fighting Naoka. Shuya's mother comes between the two and stops all the fighting. Shoko starts to cry and apologizes to Shuya's mother. The next day, Shoko decides that she wants to make everything right again. She goes to all of her old friends and tells her that she wants to fix everything. At night, Shoko gets a bad dream and runs towards the bridge where she and Shoya used to feed the fish together. Shoko starts to cry. At the same time, Shoya also wakes up in the hospital and decides to rush towards the same bridge. When the two meet each other, Shoya apologizes to her for everything he did when they were kids. Shoya blames everything on himself. However, Shoko disagrees with him and says that every bad thing happened because of her. In the end, Shoya asks Shoko for help as he wants her to teach him how to live. Once he returns home, Shoya goes and thanks Naoka for staying by his side at the hospital. The next day when Shoya goes back to school, he gets extremely nervous and finds it very hard to look anyone in the eyes. After all of his friends confront him, Shoya realizes that he was very wrong about all of them and asks them if they want to go to the school festival together. They all agree and go to the festival together as friends. At the festival, Shoya finally decides to notice all the people around him and face the world. The boy begins to cry as his life has completely changed. And the movie ends. And I learned from this movie that how we choose to treat others and teaches us some important life lessons, such as embracing others despite awkwardness and fear, apologizing and seeking redemption for past wrongs, and to treat each other with respect and kindness. Thanks my dear friend for watching till here. Subscribe for more upcoming videos.